Hello everyone and welcome to Quality Old Games. Today we are making 5 tips and cheeses video for Rome Total War campaign. And the first one is Exterminating Populace. So here we have large Carthaginian city, which we can conquer rather easily. And we have 3 options. So occupying settlement gives us some amount of money, enslaving the populace decreases the population here and increases it in other cities, and exterminating populace decreases significantly the population here and brings us huge amount of money. So exterminating populace is the choice I usually make. Only exceptions are very small towns, which I want to grow faster, so there I choose occupying. And if I decide to play kind of good guy, not exterminating the populace. So let's see what happens. We get a decent amount of money, and here the public order is in pretty decent level. So as you can see, the squalor amount is pretty low, and the garrison effect on public order is really high. And as you can see, the population level is a bit over 4,000 now. So a large amount of money and no issues with public order at the moment. And let's see what happens if we occupy the city. So the battle goes in the same way, and then we occupy it. And as you can see, the public order is really low. And if we look a bit further, you can see the population is almost 17,000, and the garrison level is really low, and squalor level is really high. So in this case, you need to struggle to maintain the control of this city, and it might be very, very difficult. Especially if you are facing huge cities and you don't want to exterminate the populace when you capture it. You need to have really large garrison, and in addition you need to have a general that has high influence, so he can keep up the public order. And additionally you need to lower taxes, have games, races and so on. So it's really costly to choose the occupy option here. So that's the tip number 1. People in Rome Total War absolutely love exterminating their cities. Then to tip number 2, namely trade. So as you can see here in the map, there are some ships going between ports and some trade carts going on the roads. Pretty small though, but here you can see maybe the best. So basically you can get trade from ports and from roads. And let's see what's more efficient here. So if you build a first tier port, you can see the trade almost quadruples here. So it's really good investment to gain money. You can also build roads. They are a bit more expensive, and you can see you almost double your trade income. Of course, the roads bring the benefit that your armies will march faster when they are in that province. But of course you can build ships from port as well. Then we have mines. It depends a bit on the city how much they will make, and they are quite expensive. So if you have money, they are a good investment, but not as good as ports and roads in my opinion. And of course then there is the 4th category for making more money out of trade, and it's market. And as you can see, the increase here is really insignificant. So in order to boost trade, build ports, roads and mines, and only after that consider markets and forums and so on. They might be necessary if you want to build, for example, armorer or foundry, or recruit high enough skill level agents or agents overall. But for making money, markets and other buildings in this construction chain are not too good. One additional way to make money is communal farming, or building farming improvements, but as you can see, the increases there are not so significant. And what you should keep in mind also is that improving farms increase population growth. And in areas and cities where the cities are already growing really fast, you might not want to increase the population growth, because then you need to lower taxes or make larger garrison to keep up the public order. And there is still one more way to make money, namely improving public order by law. And as you can see, the Shrine of Athena brings public order bonus to law 5%, and if we decide to build it, you can see there is that increase in public order, but also the corruption decreases a bit less than 10%. So, especially temples that bring law, in my opinion, are really good choices for boosting public order, because they lower the corruption as well. And this is especially important in areas that are quite far away from your capital. So, that's tip number 2. Let's move on. The third option is building peasants or barbarian peasants. So if you have larger cities that have some issues with public order, building peasants is a really quick way to solve the issue. So as you can see here, the garrison brings 20% public order and squalor brings 65% public disorder. And the population here is a bit less than 21,000. So if we decide to build 10 units of peasants, you can see that the garrison strength goes up to 25%, and that's because the population level of the city goes down. So this number will increase further when these peasants are trained and they are counted to the garrison strength. Additionally, you can see the squalor level went somewhat down, so this also boosts the public order. And in some cases, there might even be a population boom in the public order section, which gives a temporary maybe 10% increase to the public order. So in these cases, building peasants is really important. And once again, this is especially critical for larger cities that are far away from your capital. And especially important this is in barbarian invasion expansion, where you need to constantly struggle with public order, especially with outlying provinces. The fourth tip is about deciding from where to attack. So as you can see, here is the main front against the Egyptians, and there are quite strong armies nearby. So it will be somewhat of a struggle to beat all of these armies, completely possible, but there is easier way also to cripple Egypt, and that's hitting them in the back. So, as there is the main front, it's likely that, for example, Petra is very lightly defended. And let's see how is the case. So, now we have a general nearby, and we can see that Petra is guarded only by 2 units of Nubian spearmen. So basically it's ripe for taking, and if we had one more mercenary unit that's infantry here, I think we could capture it with mercenaries only, of course this general being along with those. So when you compare Petra to Jerusalem or even Damascus, you can see that it's very lightly defended. And of course, you can benefit from this strategy the most if you utilize ships for backstabbing the enemy. Of course, in that case, you need to be aware of the high amounts of pirates that plague the waters here. Okay, this is Egyptian navy. Okay, here is one example fleet. And especially in harder difficulties, in one-on-one, the pirates tend to win the auto-resolved battles. And if you suffer several defeats, it's pretty sad if your whole army stack goes to the bottom of the sea if it's not properly escorted by large enough fleet. But for example, if we had a front here near Antioch and Sidon with Egypt, we should make a decent sized fleet, for example here in Greece, and then sail it to Alexandria and Memphis. And actually that's exactly what I did here. Bringing a decent sized army and capturing these cities has been quite easy. And as you can see, the garrison in Thebes is quite small as well. So it should fall rather easily to this army here as well. So outmaneuvering the enemy in the campaign map is very essential for quick victories. And to be frank, the AI is not quite bright at defending its flanks or rear. So this cheese or tip should get you going quite well forward. Now to the fifth and this time final tip or cheese is building forts. So Roman forts act as kind of equivalent to small towns. In order to take them out, you need to besiege them or smash through the palisade with siege weapons, which the AI usually doesn't have. And if you put these forts into choke points, you can delay enemy armies for quite a long time. For example here, it ties only one unit and it slows down practically these armies for at least 2 turns. Basically, the first turn the enemy must besiege this, and then only after that turn it can attack this fort and win this over to itself. And then it needs to attack the second one, as it cannot go around here. Or maybe the army can go around, but it moves so little, maybe 1 square or whatever these are at the time, so it slows down the enemy army even further. And here the reason for these forts for me were that I was assaulting Rome, and I wanted that the Scipii stay out of the battle. So I built forts in the choke points, and then only after that began the siege of Rome. And as you can see, I managed to keep the Scipii out from the battle and managed to capture Rome. So I only needed to deal with the Senate instead of all of its allies that were nearby. Of course, you can utilize choke points elsewhere as well. For example, here there is no way to bypass an army in this area. Or of course you can do it by ship or going a long way around. But usually the AI doesn't do that. And other possible choke points are the bridges, and we will return to bridge battles in the battle tips and cheeses, but they really make really good defensive battles possible in the campaign map. So here are my 5 first tips and cheeses for Rome Total War campaign. What do you think of them? Am I missing something essential? Is there a need for another 5 tips and cheeses for the campaign map? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment field. If you like the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That will help a great deal. You can also post comments about other things as well as about these tips and cheeses. Have a great rest of the day. Quality Old Games out.